name is Tim and today I will be presenting my Excel dashboard presentation. This particular dashboard is based on raw data given to represent that of Apple Inc. This is my layout mockup for my dashboard. The mockup contains 12 different questions that I answered in my presentation using different methods of analysis, including charts and pivot tables, as well as various Excel formulas. I tried to base my questions on their relevance to, say, the vice president of a company. Of the 12, I have chosen 3 questions that I feel that I answered the best and were the simplest to understand, so as to keep the attention of those I would be presenting to. Question 1. What was the overall trend for all 3 years? Those years being 2010 through 2012. Question 2. Who was the top salesman for all 3 years? Question 3. What was the most popular sales method for 2012? As I said before, the first question asks what the overall trend was for the years 2010 through 2012. The answer to this question is an important one, because as head of a company, you would want to know how sales were year to year, especially if there is a certain sales goal in mind. To answer this question, I used a pivot table that displays the overall sales for each year, month by month. To show the results visually, I used a simple column chart and displayed the top values for all 3 years. I also included a slicer so that you could individualize the different months for each year. As you can see, the sales skyrocketed from 2000 to 2011, but went down a little in 2012. Along with overall sales, a vice president of a company would be interested in knowing who the top salesman was for all 3 years, so they could know who was working hard and whose methods could be an asset to the company in a higher position. To answer this question, I used a fancier column chart called a pivot chart. Pivot charts take the data from specified pivot tables and change accordingly with the changes made to the pivot table. As you can see, Pearson was the top salesman in all 3 years, showing that he or she is a consistent asset and could very well earn a promotion. The final question I chose asked what was the most popular method for purchase in 2012. This question shows relevance in the fact that it is information based on the most current year, as well as the fact that it shows insight into what the company's consumers use most often. For this specific data, the options for payment were credit, debit, and PayPal. To answer this question, I used another pivot table and a simple pie chart, which displays the percentages for each method. For 2012, the most productive and most popular method of purchase was obviously credit. Now this could be for a number of reasons, but what is certain is that it is a winner by a landslide, taking up 60% of the purchasing methods for 2012. This last slide is my complete dashboard presentation, showing graphic answers to all 12 of my mock-up questions. Now I know I only touched on 3 of these, but again, there are 3 that I felt were the most important to the head of a company. Once again, those were what was the overall trend for the last 3 years, who was the top salesman for those 3 years, and what was the most popular payment method in 2012, being the most current year. I hope you have learned a little something from this video, and also enjoyed it a little bit. Again, I am Tim Easterling, and this is my DSIM 203 dashboard presentation.